Well, you can cut that music for a start. Leave it. Yes, I may be in the deep south of the good old US of A, but there's going to be no scenes from Deliverance here today. Yes, I'm in Alabama to have a look at Mercedes' brand new venture, the M-Class, the vehicle that they believe is going to take on the Discoveries, Range Rovers and Explorers of the world in the very lucrative sports utility vehicle market. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, is this the market leader that everybody's predicting, or is it just another 4x4 with acres of room and a set of sporty alloys? There's only one way to find out. Let's have a drive. By the way, if you do see any canoes or dodgy men with moustaches, be sure to give us the nod, because tonight I don't want to be squealing like a pig. Let's go.
Imagine a woman with all the style and elegance of Audrey Hepburn, coupled with the obvious talents of Victoria Principal. Throw in a little of the muscle and power of the Ewing Corporation, and well, you've created a monster or the perfect woman. Well, it's a little like what Mercedes are attempting to do here with the M-Class. They're trying to marry the traditional values of a Mercedes, build quality, refinement and style, with the attributes of a sport utility vehicle, ruggedness, cargo room and ground clearance. A difficult challenge in anyone's book, and the fact that it's entirely built and assembled here in Alabama, and Mercedes have given themselves a tall order indeed.
Oh, shut up. Here we go, this is it. The M-Class. This is the V6 3.2 model with 3 valves per cylinder and 2 spark plugs, which Mercedes say gives it very clean emissions. Well, as you can see, it's a very stylish car. It's got Mercedes written all over it, really. Well, it would do, wouldn't it? And it's quite a cumbersome big fella. Got a big feeling, very big tyres, very wide. I could talk all day, but I'll tell you what, the temperature is into the high 90s now, and I'm very hot. And inside there is air conditioning. Guess where I'm going?
I do hope you understand me getting back into the air-conditioned interior of the Mercedes. You see, I've been brought up on English winters, not Alabama summers, where climate control is leaving the window slightly ajar to get rid of the condensation.
This 217 brake horsepower version of the M-Class gives adequate, if not excessive, pulling power. Remember, I'm still talking about the engine, provided, of course, you want to go in a straight line. Mid-range torque is there, but it's not immediate, so if you want to overtake, then plan ahead. On some of Alabama's steeper hills, you might find yourself struggling for power, but as most of the roads are straight, like everywhere else in America, and you just need that 40 to 60 range, you'll find the M-Class more than adequate. The handling of the M-Class is rather predictable for a 4x4 made in America. In and out of corners there is roll, but as I'm from Manchester, I'll just roll with it.
The obvious danger with the concept of this car is that it'll end up being a jack of all trades but a master of none. It's essentially trying to be several cars rolled into one. However, that's the car's best quality. It is a jack of all trades. I mean, if this car was called Jack, then it'd be a competent plumber, handy in the garden, in fact very versatile all round the house.
If you're a Mercedes fan, then you'll love the M-Class. It's Mercedes through and through. There's leather and walnut everywhere inside the cabin, although I have to say some parts of the plastic dash I find a bit tacky. But in terms of equipment, it's absolutely loaded. It's more loaded than Richard Branson the morning after he's won a rollover on the National Lottery. There's air conditioning, a brilliant stereo, loads of things. It's brilliant.
But seriously, along with the air conditioning and integrated stereo, you do get the usual Mercedes level of specification. Electrical seats, electric windows, full leather interior, and all those airbags are standard.
If Inspector Gadget had a car, he'd have an M-Class. And if all that wasn't enough, these seats are as comfortable as Jimmy Savile's armchair. With the elevated driving position, or the PR like to call it the commanding view position, you do feel safe in the M-Class. Visibility is very good, although the front pillars are slightly irritating, and the rear angular pillars seem unnecessarily large, creating possible blind spots. But safe you are. With front, passenger and side airbags, it means that if you do get involved in the wacky races, you're going to be in the equivalent of the executive bouncy castle.
Well, the M-Class certainly feels like a Mercedes, but is it built like one? I went along to their new factory in Alabama to see for myself.
And here it is, the brand new state-of-the-art Mercedes plant in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Inspired by BMW and Spartanburg, Mercedes have decided to base the whole of their M-Class operation here, using local labour and personnel, but Stuttgart design and work practices. Remember, inside there are 1,450 team members with no captains or managers. It's the largest squad that Man United could ever manage. And remember, there are no executive dining facilities here and no executive car parking places. So, if you're an exec and thinking of working for Mercedes, I'd go somewhere else. Let's go inside.
In January 1993, Daimler-Benz announced their intention to build what was to become known as the M-Class, so far 0 on the Richter scale. However, it was 3 months later that Benz announced it was going to build its new car in North America. It was at this point that automotive shockwaves started to register. America is home to the largest market for sport utility vehicles, so it makes sense to build a vehicle where you're going to be selling most units. But the decision wasn't just economical. The proposed plant posed engineering questions.
The paint shop in Mercedes-Benz factory is pressurised, so they've got what's called an air shower, which means any contaminants on things are apparently blown off by this air shower. I prefer just to wash and go myself. Apparently that's an engine. No, it is. That's the V8 that apparently is coming out in spring 1999. You saw me in the V6 the other day. That was powerful. This baby generates even more horsepower. Brilliant!
Could Daimler-Benz use German work practices with a North American workforce? And could they get that workforce to apply European build quality standards to the new vehicle? The answers to these and other questions seem to be becoming clearer. The car I drove had done nearly 20,000 miles and had presumably been put through its paces by some quite cynical hacks, but it did seem to be bearing up well, certainly better than me in the Alabama heat.
$300 million investment with a $40 million extension, an awful lot of team members, 1,450, and even more team wear. And at the end of the production line, 300 M-classes per day. That's 65,000 units per year. An awful lot of work, an awful lot of statistics, but I think you'll agree, certainly worth it. The M-Class. Okay, we've already seen the M-Class on the roads, and impressive it was. However, to see what it can really do and have some fun, it's time to off-road, or as the boys say, day 2, let's off-road.
This off-road course has been purpose-built by Mercedes to display the strengths of the M-Class, so obviously it's not going to incorporate any gradients or obstacles that the car can't handle. But nevertheless, the challenges posed here are still considerable. Hills steeper than you'd find in most national parks, and puddles deeper than anything even a rainy week in Manchester could provide.
Okay, talk me through it, Trevor.
Now here on this down here, you're going to wait till all 4 wheels touch the ground, ease on through, and then release the brake at your leisure, and the engine braking will take over. No worries.
No worries, he says.
No worries.
Good Lord.
Right.
Right. This is terrific fun. We don't have hills like this in Manchester, but good fun nonetheless. Right, I want brake, accelerator here, yeah?
Accelerator here, definitely. And
gas.
Again, anytime the wheels start to slip, steady acceleration, pull you out every time.
Steady acceleration.
Steady acceleration, about 2,000 RPM.
2,000 RPM, and no problem.
No problem. A little different from some four-wheel drive systems.
Okay.
It takes a little getting used to, but it's really user-friendly.
This is the ETS that Trevor's talking about. Basically, there's 3 differentials, and if even 3 wheels start to slip, as much of the power as possible goes to that 4th wheel by applying a brake to the other 3 wheels. Was that about right?
Brilliant.
Good. I was paying attention in that
That's
lecture.
right, you sure were. This slope going down through the woods, there's no need to brake at all.
No?
It's relatively extreme, but the engine brake will take care to hold it down.
It certainly does.
Should be no worries.
Okay, to avoid driving error, like just back there, do talk me through it. If you think I'm going to miss a turn, do tell me.
Okay, you're doing great.
Thank you very much. I bet you say that to all the crap drivers you have.
Okay, this is the torsion articulation test. So first and foremost, the front left and right rear tire are going to be spinning. So the ETS will detect that these tires are spinning, add ABS brakes to them, build up the torque, which will transfer to the other tires and pull us right through here, just like so. Beautiful. Now here in the middle, you can run into some problems, but in other vehicles, but in the M-Class, again, steady.
Just tell me power or brake.
Steady acceleration, say no worries. The vehicle does it for you. That was brilliant.
Oh dear, that was the bit I was worrying about. Trevor's giving me the full SP and I just want to know power or brake. This is the most fun I've had recently while still keeping my clothes on. It is absolutely terrific. You can keep your roller coasters, you can keep your candy and your steak. Just try and get yourself on an off-road course, because this is terrific. Big toys for big boys! Okay, Simon Oldfield, Mercedes-Benz UK. We've just been enjoying some of the more obvious virtues of the M-Class. What do you see as the other strengths of the car?
I think the other major strength that this car has over its competition is the on-road performance. The refinement, the smoothness is everything you would expect from a Mercedes-Benz saloon, but you're getting it in a 4x4 vehicle. This is largely because of the 4ETS system. It means that you don't need things like locking differentials that add weight and noise and reduce the performance on-road of most 4x4s.
And as we've seen, the M-Class is being built here in this tremendous plant in Alabama, soon to be supplemented by the plant in Austria. What can you say to customers to reassure them that actually this is, in every sense, a Mercedes?
Well, I think the important thing is who it's made by, and the car is designed and made by Mercedes-Benz, the plant was designed by Mercedes-Benz, and the fact that it's built in Alabama, which is in the US, which is the biggest 4x4 market in the world, just makes a lot of sense. And I think customers have come to expect that from a lot of products, not just in the automotive industry, that it's the provenance of the manufacturer and the designer that's the most important thing.
OK, but then again, you would say that, wouldn't you?
They pay my bills.
And quite significantly, you're twisting your arm up your back as you said it. Thank you, Simon. Cheers.
All things considered, the M-Class performed well on and off-road, and it is great fun. So if you've got £32,000 to spend and want a refined sports utility vehicle, then my advice is certainly to give the M-Class a test drive. It could well bring a smile to your face.
Now, although many of us have secret dreams of cruising in a convertible or owning a sleek supercar, the reality is very different. Because there, in big, bold letters at the top of our shopping list, are the words cheap, economical, practical. Dull words, but very important ones. And 3 words that Toyota had very much in mind when they designed their latest Super Mini, the Yaris. Now, the Yaris is one of those cars that really does live up to its name. Yaris isn't the most conventional of names, and you'd be right in thinking that this isn't the most conservative of cars. It is in fact something of an oddity. It towers above most of its counterparts at a rather statuesque 59 inches. It might not be as long as its rivals, but it will still fit 4 adults comfortably inside. And now get ready for the biggest shock of all. This is a Japanese car, but it does appear to have been styled. No, it may not exactly look high fashion, but I think it's cute. It comes in a great range of colours and it looks great on the road. And let's face it, it's certainly an enormous improvement on anything we've seen recently from Japan. And inside, yes, you get another very pleasant surprise. There's been styling going on in here as well. Gone is a traditional dashboard, replaced instead by a centre pod that houses a digital information display. Now, generally the whole interior does feel extremely solid and well built, but darlings, please, can somebody ban the use of grey plastic from the interiors of cars? I hate it. Apart from that though, I haven't got any more complaints. There are plenty of cubby holes and storage spaces everywhere. Just perfect for things like maps. Now, the first thing that you notice when you get behind the wheel is the very upright seating position. Now, it may not suit everybody, although I do quite like it. And the second thing you notice is the fact that there is nothing in front of you telling you how fast you're going. Now, it is all over there to the right in the instrument pod. It does seem a little bit strange looking over to the right, but you really do get used to it very quickly. The behind the wheel visibility is excellent. You get a great view of everything that's going on around you. And although this is a very small car, you feel really airy and open. You could very well be in something much bigger. Now, at the moment, the Yaris comes with just one engine. It's a 1 litre. It's got 67 brake horsepower and has a top speed of 96 miles per hour. Now, it's not the most powerful of engines, but particularly in the low gears, there is enough there for you. It's when you get up into 5th gear and you're hitting 70 that it does start to get very noisy. But let's be honest here, this isn't the kind of car that's going to really see a lot of action at the top end of the range now, is it? The gearbox on the Yaris is superb. It feels very sharp and the clutch is nice and smooth. And all this goes together to make the Yaris a really good car to drive around town in. This is where this car comes into its own. The steering is nice, it's got a good turning circle. There's power steering on everything but the most basic model. And because of the nice short body, it also makes it very easy to park. It really is a perfect city car. Well, prices start at £7,495 on the road for the 3-door S model, and that rises to £10,995 for the 5-door CDX, which comes with things like alloy wheels, air conditioning and a CD radio as standard. Okay, so what about economy? Well, the Yaris is actually a good all-round buy. All this 1-litre engine needs is a 10,000-mile health check. It only needs a full service every 20,000 miles or 2 years. And because of Toyota's price-fixing policy, it means that should you need any parts, they're likely to be quite a bit cheaper than those of the competition. And did I mention, you should be getting up to 50 miles per gallon out of the Yaris. Not bad, eh? Hey, you can't complain about 4 doors, plenty of space, 3 years warranty and 3 years free roadside rescue in case the unthinkable happens. And because this is a Toyota, there's really not much chance of that. Now, I suppose some of us really are filthy rich and do spend our days sipping champagne whilst gazing at the exotic supercars parked on the driveway. But if for you the reality is 2 kids to get to school, shopping to be done at the supermarket, followed by a not so glamorous cup of tea, then the Toyota Yaris is the perfect car to have parked on your driveway.
Now, arriving at 5-star luxury hotels is all about arriving in style. You might think that a helicopter pad and a helicopter could be the perfect way. I don't think so. If you give me the chance, I reckon I'd make a bigger impression turning up at the doors in my Bentley. £255,000. That's what it would cost you to buy this Bentley Sedanka Coupe. But this is a Bentley with a none-too-subtle difference. Bentley say they wanted to make the ultimate statement when they made this car, and that's why we've got this hideous burnt orange metallic colour. 50% of these cars are going to go to the Sunshine States of America, and you've guessed it, the old Yanks demand something very, very extrovert. But personally, I think the original Bentley boys will be turning in their grave. So what's it like driving a mobile fortune? First impression is of absolute comfort. It's like sitting on a large throne. It also feels frighteningly powerful. That's probably because it's got a 6.7-litre monster engine with 400 brake horsepower that will propel this 2.5 tons worth of metal from 0 to 60 in a frightening 6.1 seconds. Should you be allowed, it would also take you rapidly to 155 miles an hour. I was really apprehensive before I got in. I mean, 250,000, that's £250,000. To be honest, I was more than apprehensive. I was bloody scared. I mean, what if somebody bumps into you? But the fact is, everybody is paying homage to you. There's no navigation system. I mean, you even get one of those in a Vauxhall Vectra. That's optional in the Bentley, though. And I wouldn't have minded having a TV screen. You get one of those in a BMW 5 Series. Well, there's a herd of cows being sacrificed for the leather for this, and by God, though, it was worth it, because comfort-wise, I am just sitting in 7th heaven here. It is so relaxing. The only danger is you can imagine yourself nodding off. And as for the back, well, to be quite frank, there is no room at all, or very little. This is definitely not the Bentley you want to be chauffeured in. This is a driver's car, and this is the place you want to be. You don't feel too cramped, though, because you've got the ultimate sunroof. 2 removable panels, second sunroof for the people sitting in the back, and this Bentley converts at the touch of a button into a soft-top sports car. Incredible thing about Bentley owners is apparently the average one owns between 6 and 10 cars, including at least 2 supercars like a Ferrari and a Porsche 911. It's a hard life being a Bentley owner. Behind all the typically traditional Bentley wood and all the rest of it though, this Bentley is an absolute aristocratic hooligan. Not surprisingly, you don't see too many Bentley owners doing the shopping, using them for the day-to-day things. So, anyway, here we are. Let's just park up. No wonder they don't like parking Bentleys at supermarkets. I've just found out why. At nearly 18 foot, they're a nightmare. You do realise, of course, that the Bentley badge is now actually no longer a Bentley, because, of course, it's owned by Volkswagen. Good news is that they intend, they say, keeping the badge and everything else about the car just so. What it'll mean, though, is they're going to invest £500 million of their money on a new model range of Bentleys. So that's it. I've had my amazing day as king of the road, but let's get back to reality. This car is still £255,000. For that, you could buy 6 people's homes here. So, do I want to be Mr. Sensible? I don't think so. What I really want is to keep my motoring fantasy.